Welcome back to Mr. What Presents. Today, last show of the year, last show before Christmas. It is the holiday season, everybody. I hope everyone has wonderful holidays and ends the year with a boom, with a bang. Today, we're celebrating an emerging artist, the way we love to promote local arts. We have Jess on board. Jess, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're a part of the project Strictly Elizabeth. You're here in California to manifest your destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
As a creator. So tell us a little bit more about the sources of your interests, of your art, and what would you like people to know about you at this point in time in San Francisco?
Well, the point about Manifest Destiny is really apropos for me in my life. I was living in New York City and had a career in transportation and urban design that led me to a point of curiosity and passion for the subject of active design, which is more or less biking and walking. As I came to learn, but also prompted me to really learn more about the connection between the built environment and human health, all sorts of health, physical health, emotional health, mental well-being, and there was a lot to learn about that. And I was connected with some women at a conference in New York who were out in California working on that in Sacramento and in the Bay Area. And so they really encouraged me to come to California where I could really learn more and be on the frontier of a subject that I was clearly curious about.
And what's interesting about your music is that you're really driven by the need or the desire to heal. The real intention behind it all in this new album that you are releasing in January.
The album is called Shelter in Place. That title has a lot of meanings for me, but one of them in particular is about healing and about finding healing where you are. And so I think that the curiosity that brought me to California around a topic of human health and the connection between the built environment and what I was doing as an architect and being involved in the design of our transportation systems and the design of our cities, I had kind of an epiphany at some point where I realized that I was spending a lot of time and energy working to make the world a better place, when in reality, the things that we can control and the things that really matter are much closer to home and to your own personal choices. And so that was what really brought me back to a focus on my own actions in the world, and also just a really introspective time in my life. And so a medium that was more conducive to something personal is really what brought me back to music and to songwriting. It's something I've done pretty much my whole life, but it's always been these kind of episodic moments along my career as an architect.
And as a songwriter, since you are coming back to it, what happened for you in the East Coast or in your previous life in terms of music and guitar or other instruments that you may have been pursuing? What was your old life in music?
Well, I didn't. That's kind of, I guess, another story. But I always sang, even as a kid, just singing gospel songs with my mom usually, and kind of came up singing songs in church, and was classically trained as a vocalist as a teenager, studied music composition in high school, and then kind of made the decision to study architecture and kind of put music on the back burner.
And you're classically trained, or you had bands growing up? What is your origin in terms of music influences?
Well, I would say a big chapter was moving to New York after I graduated from college, and while I was still pursuing my career as an architect, found a lot of other friends who introduced me to all sorts of music that I was at the time unfamiliar with, and just got really interested in a lot of the music that's kind of steeped in New York City in terms of, you know, CBGBs and Blondie and Patti Smith, other people who had a real influence on me living there, as well as like the music scene that was happening all around me.
And then you decided to come to California right away after the New York chapter, or was there a little bit of another sort of roundabout way before you landed here?
Oh, there's a lot that happened in between. I was in a few different, I guess, creative phases through all of that. And when I made the decision to move to California at the time, I was traveling back and forth between New York and Hong Kong for work, and came to California again with a idea that I was going to be focusing on my career in urban design and transportation, and found myself really needing to play music and write songs again, mostly out of events that happened in my personal life.
And did you get in touch pretty quickly with organizations and other women collectives such as Groundswell, which helped you produce a video we're about to watch for a little bit? Or did that take a little while until you found your people here in San Francisco?
Well, Groundswell Community Project is more or less one of many organizations that I found here in California that I feel like are on a path towards connecting people who are making personal choices and strides in their life to overcome trauma and adversity. And so one of the major things that they're doing that I think is wonderful is trying to really push the boundaries and be on the frontier of what healthcare can really mean, and what's possible for people in terms of actually healing and overcoming adversity in their lives. And I think for me that was a big part of being here that I wasn't anticipating, but I found. It was a way to really overcome and heal from trauma in my life that prior to that I was never clear. There was never an obvious path or somebody who said there's a way that you can actually heal from these things and move on. It's not something that is going to be permanent.
And I know that the surf element in that video is important to you. Is that only one of the tenets of Groundswell, or is it like a core sort of element of healing through sports, or in this case surfing?
Yeah,
or is it about nature, or is it about...
It's about both. So part of the mission for the organization is using the research that they're doing to take licensed therapy out of just the therapist's room and out into the ocean. So not only is there a connection between doing a therapy session with your therapist out in the water and doing something active that has a lot of scientific basis for how that can actually help overcome trauma and things that are more physical in terms of the experiences or the traumatic experiences that you're working to overcome, but also the connection to the wild ocean and nature and the healing power that has alongside conservation then by that connection with the earth and our humanity, more or less.
This is off of your brand new album. It's called California Band, and it's a lead song off of the album.
That's right, yep.
Wax to grind the board, keeping me moving along. I love you, I love you, I love you, that old-fashioned song.
This video is awesome. Very nicely done. It looks like everybody was into it and collaborating, and
Yeah.
sort of exemplifies what you're talking about in terms of nature and health and empowered.
A community,
Mm-hmm.
right? And finding a community of people who are really happy to be there, happy to share their energy and their love for surfing, and really behind the cause.
How can people interested in you stay tuned and help you pursue your objectives?
Well, I have the album coming out January 1st, 0101.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a full album of songs similar to this. I would love to continue to make videos like this with other community organizations around themes in the album that kind of span a whole spectrum of experiences. One of them is the last track on the album called This Possession.
Mm-hmm. And you brought your guitar
I
in the
did,
studio, so
yeah. So I can
if
share
you-
that with you.
if you'd like to do that, that'd be awesome. We love live music, and there's nothing like a performer that will put themselves on the spot without amplification or artifice. So there you go.
Well, it's a cappella on the album,
Mhm.
so this is even more of a clue into how I actually wrote the song, because there is a guitar part, but this really speaks to the beginnings of me as a songwriter and the gospel songs that I used to sing with my mom.
Great. And again, it's off of your brand new album coming out in January.
That's right.
01/01/2020.
Lord knows I spent years on the kitchen floor. I broke down, but I got through. I lost my lust and my love for you. Oh, look ahead, and I can see untamed and setting free. Time and wait and feeding lonely end of days. Lord knows I've got time, I've got years to mourn my nights. Go on and free. All that I've seen, I've seen it, I've seen it, oh, I've seen it. I know in time, free end of days. I know in time, free end of days.
Yeah, wonderful. Dispossession off of your new album, Shelter in Place. 9 songs on the album.
That's
Or
right.
What's your route for release?
Right now it's just digital distribution, so iTunes, Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have CDs available on the website.
So CDs are still a thing for you,
You know, some people still like
right?
to.
I still play CDs in my
Right.
van. Any gigs? Anything that you are starting to work on for 2020 in San Francisco? Any preferred stages that you'd like to be on?
I think we're still working on all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we watched that one video. Do you have other videos coming up, or this is sort of like the one for the moment, and that kind of brings all your interest in one place for now, and you're busy enough with the music?
Definitely have more videos in the works. There's a whole story arc for the rest of the 8 songs
Mm-hmm.
to this is kind of the first chapter. And so working on storyboarding and telling the whole story.
Great. Well, 22 minutes go by real fast when we're enjoying ourselves with great music, and especially when the spirit of Christmas is on us. So you guys go back home and stay warm here in San Francisco. Have a wonderful Christmas season, and we will see you back in 2020 at Mr. What Presents for more exciting research and discovery into our underground arts. This has been Mr. What Presents with Strictly Elizabeth. Thank you so much for coming,
Thank you.
and we'll see you on stage.